Storylines for tonight. Despite the loss of KD to the ruptured Achilles, the Warriors soldiered on to win Game 5 and extend the season. And now the final game in Oracle history, which opened way back in 1966. Will we see Game 6, Clay? For some reason, Game 6s have brought out the best in him. Clay has scored at least 25, 4 times in a Game 6, a postseason record 11 threes in the conference finals against the Thunder in 2016. Standing in the way are the Raptors, who are the only team to beat the Warriors in 3 straight games at Oracle Arena under Steve Kerr. Toronto looking to become the first franchise outside the U.S. to win an NBA title. Leading the way, of course, for the North has been Kawhi, who is in line to win his second Finals MVP, just 50 points shy of finishing with the most points in a single postseason in NBA history. Carrie.
All right, David, with all of that, that's the context. Let's get our guy in here, Stephen A. Smith, live from Oakland. You probably just saw him a minute ago on First Take. The Raptors could end it tonight, Stephen A., at Oracle. But on the other side, let's talk about it. You mentioned it on your show. Golden State will play with some emotional motivation. Durant is not there, obviously, injured last game at Oracle. So with that, what changes do the Warriors need to make tonight to get that win?
Well, I don't know if they can make any changes necessarily. They've got to pace themselves and make sure they don't get drained by the obvious adrenaline and momentum they will start off the game with. If you recall, they started off the game 4, very, very strong, and then they faded. Toronto's incredibly patient and poised. They know they're bigger. They know they're stronger. They know they're healthier, and as a result, they've got more bodies to throw in the direction of the Golden State Warriors at their discretion. Plus, you got 2 key guys coming off the bench that's been playing well for them, and Fred VanVleet and Serge Ibaka. So these are things that they've got to take into consideration if you're the Golden State Warriors. It's not just about Steph. It's not just about Clay and Draymond Green to a lesser degree. It's also about recognizing who you can rely on, and Steve Kerr going about the business of pacing them appropriately so when it really, really counts, you can rely on those dudes to come in and save the day. That's why everybody was pointing to Kevin Durant and how big of a factor he was, even though he only played 1 quarter and a couple of minutes before going down. He came out, started off strong, hit all 3 of his threes, scored 11 points, and more importantly than anything else, he gave you those additional minutes early on that ultimately spelled for Steph and Clay and even others coming off the bench for them. You don't have that luxury now. You may not have Kevon Looney, and that means you're a little bit thinner, and you're going to have to rely on people potentially you didn't expect to have to rely upon, and that's the fear that should exist when it comes to the Warriors.
All right, you talk about pacing. You also mentioned Draymond Green. He has 6 technicals going into tonight's game. So guess what? One more, he's out for Game 7. What kind of Draymond Green do you expect for us to see tonight?
He's a basketball savant. His intelligence is off the charts on the basketball court. And as far as I'm concerned, just as a man, I love the guy. But tonight, he's got to shut the hell up. He can't say anything. You know, he's got to be quiet. He's got to be on his best behavior. He's got to smile in the direction of referees. He's got to walk away. And in return, they have to show him the courtesy and us the courtesy of not giving him the quick hook or the quick technical. You can't just referee and officiate game to game in this situation. You have to recognize the fact that if Draymond Green receives another technical, he would be suspended for Game 7 in the event the Warriors won a Game 6. As far as I'm concerned, if you're an official, I don't give a damn what they say. You have an obligation to know that and to be sensitive to that, to make sure that that's not something that could potentially affect the outcome of an NBA championship series. I'm not saying you don't give him a tech if he deserves it. I'm saying you have to be absolutely positively sure that he does deserve it if you give him that tech, knowing that if the Warriors win, he would be suspended for Game 7. You can't do that to us. You can't do that to him. You can't do that to anybody that loves basketball out there unless he truly deserves it, because we don't want excuses. It's already bad enough that Kevin Durant is gone and Kevon Looney is injured, and as a result, you've got Iguodala and Boogie Cousins and guys like that that clearly are not 100%. You can't further strip the Golden State Warriors of its potency as the reigning 2-time defending NBA champions from an officiating perspective. Let them go out on the court and lose. I say keep your eyes on all of that, but Draymond Green, ultimately, the onus and responsibility is on his shoulders to be quiet and to be on his best behavior, because you do not want to be accused of costing the Golden State Warriors an NBA championship because you get yourself suspended for a game in the event that you win Game 6 tonight. It can't happen. It just can't happen.
Yeah, by the way, you're preaching because everyone behind you, those Golden State fans, are in agreement. They're shaking their heads. Well said, Stephen A. Smith. I appreciate it. Kerry Champion with Stephen A. Smith. They know when they got the truth. Thank you for joining us here, my friend.
No problem.
Anthony Davis, folks, coming up next, back on the trading block. Woj lets us know why the Pelicans are looking to get this done sooner rather than later. That's coming up next on Coast.
With the NBA season in its last days and the draft a week away, trade talk heating up for Anthony Davis. Adrian Wojnarowski reporting that both the Celtics and the Lakers are pursuing separate deals for Davis. The Pelicans and Lakers are looking for a third team to help facilitate a deal. Rich Paul represents both Davis and LeBron. And we have Woj joining us now. Reports are that Davis would like to play in L.A. So characterize what the trade talks are like right now with the Lakers and Pelicans.
There's still some distance between these two teams about the kind of deal that the Lakers so far have been willing to do, what they're willing to give up, and what New Orleans wants. And so it's a negotiation. Boston is part of the conversation. And, you know, New Orleans has been trying to be creative with this, looking at adding a third team, a fourth team, to kind of move some assets around, so in the end they can get the best possible return on Anthony Davis, who, you know, is as impactful of a player that's been on the trade market, you know, in some time.
You can understand why the Lakers would want him. Now, Rich Paul kind of poisoning the well with the Celtics, saying Davis would only be in Boston for a year, sort of putting that out there to kind of kill maybe Boston's hopes of swinging a deal. What's Danny Ainge's rationale if he only got him for 1 year?
Well, Boston has known for several months that this was the position of Anthony Davis and his camp, and he's been undeterred. He would, whether it's to trade for Anthony Davis to try to convince Kyrie Irving to stay in Boston to be able to play with Davis, or if Kyrie Irving leaves, to then put another team around Anthony Davis and try to sell him on a future in Boston. And I think they're an organization that believes in who they are, what they have, and that they can be impactful in selling themselves to a player of that magnitude and convincing him to stay there. But Danny Ainge has remained in this process and has been serious about trying to acquire Davis.
Quickly, how important is it for the Pelicans to get a deal before the draft?
I think what's important for them, if they're going to get a pick in this draft, if they're going to get the Lakers pick hypothetically at number 4, or they're going to trade it, make it part of another deal, whoever is going to draft at 4, whether it's the Pelicans or a third team, they want to have some time to be able to sift through who the player would be you would select there, be able to go spend some time, bring them in for a workout. So the sooner you do that with the draft 7 days away, you know, that makes sense for New Orleans.
Anthony Davis, one of the huge dominoes in this NBA offseason as we head into it. Woj giving us the very latest on him. Kerry?
So in an NBA world where branding and big personalities often lead to popularity and success on and off the court, Kawhi Leonard just breaks the mold. He's soft-spoken, and we don't know much about his personal life, likes or dislikes for that matter. But we do know he can ball. Kawhi and company are on the brink of delivering the first NBA title to Toronto. Our Mark Schwartz digs deep to see how Kawhi's unique approach to the game has proven to be so successful.
If you could build a player to dismantle a dynasty, he would probably look exactly like this.
Kawhi Leonard dominating right now as he continues one of the great runs in NBA playoff history.
Kawhi is quiet, but he's relentless.
When Kawhi Leonard goes about the not-so-delicate work of destroying dominance, he doesn't think about your legacy or about his. He simply steps on your throat.
It's not about me being famous. It's about me playing basketball and having fun on the floor.
If you were teaching your kid, you know, this is how you play sports, you'd tell them, compete to win, care about winning, don't let your emotions get the best of, you know, all those things that he is.
While other superstars shimmy, pose, and pound their chests, Leonard is silent, cold-blooded, and emotionless.
He's a machine in terms of how he operates and plays the game.
When I watch games from, you know, Kobe or Shaq or Mike, they always didn't just go nuts. Until we win the game or it's all done, and I'll show some emotion, but I want to stay even keeled while I'm going through it.
For weeks, the media has peppered Leonard about everything from his breakup with the Spurs and Zaza stepping on his foot to what exactly are your plans next year. He dismisses these questions the way he dismisses defenders. To him, only one thing matters: this moment.
I'm not afraid of the moment. I enjoy it.
He's always thinking about the play, the next play, and how we can win that possession, which will enable us to win the game. It's an unbelievable mindset.
We got the coach, Seth Greenberg, with us as we focus in on Kawhi and the Warriors focusing on Kawhi. He's been well-nigh unstoppable the whole postseason. The Warriors have had 5 games to try to figure out and solve this riddle. Are they getting closer? What are you seeing in this series?
You're not stopping him for 48 minutes. I'll tell you where you need to stop him. Last quarter, end of the shot clock. You've got to get the ball out of his hands. You've got to make someone else beat you at the end of the game, at the end of the clock. And this is the last play of the game right here. And you're going to see right here just to start the play. All right? You're going to deny him the basketball. You're going to try to push him out. And Klay Thompson's done a really good job of that, holding him for well under 1 point per possession when he's defending him. But he's getting help. You see right there, Klay's doing a good job of defending him. What that does is it pushes him out just a little bit, because you push him out to the logo. Now all of a sudden the defense behind you has more time to react and help. As this play develops, I really want you to watch right here. You're going to see Kyle Lowry go out to the corner, but you're going to see Andre Iguodala, he's staying home. And that is really, really important, because the best way to defend Kawhi Leonard is get the ball out of his hands, make someone else beat you. So as this play develops, you're going to see Kawhi go right here. What happens? Iguodala comes with the double team. You're obviously going to stay home on the ball side corner, but now you've got basically 2 defenders on Kawhi. You're getting the ball out of his hands. You're saying, you know what? We're going to lose this game. Someone else is going to beat us. The play develops. You're getting the ball out of his hands. You don't let him get it back. And on this extra pass, here's the most important thing that Golden State needs to do. I want you to look right here at Draymond Green, because Draymond Green right here, if he's inside of Paul Gasol, he gets screened. But what does he do? He gets on top of him, so you can't screen him in. And that's what we talk about, being connected. And then on the pass, they move on the airtime of the pass. And watch right here. People say, well, Kyle Lowry doesn't have the clutch gene. Forget about that. The guy was great. Draymond Green doesn't do a good job. He does a great job of attacking his shooting shoulder and contesting the shot. So what do? Golden State, they force someone else to beat them, get the ball out of Kawhi Leonard's hands. To beat Toronto, late game, short clock. You can't let this dude beat you. And on the other hand, Toronto, they cannot allow Steph Curry and they cannot allow Klay Thompson to beat them. They can't be minus 12 on the 3-point shots made. They've got to take those 2 guys somehow, some way out of the game.
Getting deep into this series. We'll see how it plays out. Kawhi averaging just under 30 a game in these finals. At home court, it doesn't even work anymore. The teams are 1-4 at home in these finals.
Last game at Oracle.
There you go. Seth Greenberg with us. Let's put some more numbers on Game 6. Final game, as we mentioned, at Oracle. As good as the Dubs' home court has been in recent years, they have struggled against Toronto this season, losing all 3 games by double digits. However, in the last 25 years, reigning champs facing elimination are 5-1 at home in the finals, though the one loss was by Golden State. No KD, which means more Steph is required. Curry averaging 10 more points per 36 minutes with Durant off the floor this postseason. Game 6 with the Raptors looking to close out their first NBA title. The Warriors trying to extend to a Game 7 Sunday back in Toronto. Coverage starts with NBA Countdown at 8:30 Eastern. They'll tip shortly after 9 o'clock Eastern. Looking forward to a Game 6. Carrie?
There is nothing weird or dramatic about the NBA free agency, said no one, ever. And literally weeks before Kyrie Irving is going to hit the market, he said bye to his agent, the same agent that Kyrie has had since he was the #1 pick back in 2011. Kyrie is likely to join Rock Nation, which, by the way, is Jay-Z's group. Good morning, Woj.
Morning, Nicole.
What does the agent change, particularly this likely change to Rock Nation? What does that say about where Kyrie may end up?
I don't know that this indicates at all any change in how he's going to view his free agency. He is 27 years old. He has been in this league a long time. He knows what he wants in free agency. Jeff Wexler, the agent he was with, one of the most respected agents in the league, put him in the Uncle Drew commercials, a lot of national
Built
marketing.
him up to this point.
Yeah, and when he wanted to get out of Cleveland, helps him get to the Boston Celtics, which was a place Kyrie wanted to be, and then Kyrie publicly commits to staying there. My sense was always Wexler had wanted, certainly him to honor that word that he had made publicly, but it's Kyrie Irving's decision who he wants to have represent him. I think right now the Nets are certainly foremost in his mind. The Celtics continue to try to recruit him. That's part of the Anthony Davis talks. But at his age, his experience in the league, he knows what he wants from a team standpoint. I don't think that's dictated to by an agent.
Kevin Durant certainly knows what he wants, and it is not what he's got right now. Durant announced his own injury yesterday on Instagram. It is a ruptured Achilles, and he had surgery yesterday. The free agent picture changed drastically the second Durant went down. How is this now already playing out?
Well, two things. You look through the marketplace for Kevin Durant. How does it impact what teams are willing to offer him in free agency? My sense is it really hasn't changed. That the same teams who are going to recruit Kevin Durant, including the Golden State Warriors to stay, that they understand next year is essentially a red shirt, and you'd be paying Kevin Durant on a long-term deal, but you're hopefully going to get the 3 years after that or the 4 years after it. If you stay in Golden State, they can do a 5-year deal. It's interesting, though, how it impacts Kyrie Irving, because his thought had been whether it was with the Nets or the Knicks, he could partner with Durant there. Now he doesn't have that opportunity to partner next season with him. It would be, they might be teammates next year, but he wouldn't be playing with Kevin. Kevin's going to miss next season. Does that open the door back up for Boston if they can make a trade for Anthony Davis? The Celtics are certainly hoping that's the case.
We're talking about all of this right now like it's already the offseason, and it is not. Game 6 of the NBA Finals is tonight, 9 Eastern on ABC and the ESPN app. Randolph.
All right, Nicole, thank you. Yeah, let's go by the numbers on this Game 6 tonight that she mentioned. The final game at Oracle Arena, and for as good as the Dubs' home court advantage has been in recent years, man, they've struggled against Toronto this season, losing all 3 matchups. But it's tough to knock out the champs at home. In the last 25 years, reigning champs facing elimination are 5-1 at home in the finals. One loss, though, was by Golden State. And Kevin Durant is out. That means Golden State will need more from Steph, averaging 10 more points per 36 minutes with Durant off the floor this postseason. All right, good to have Seth Greenberg here to coach us up ahead of Game 6. And Kawhi Leonard averaging 37 points a game, 58% shooting against these Warriors in this series. So if you're on that Golden State coaching staff, what's the best way here to go about defending against this man?
Late game, short clock. You cannot let Kawhi Leonard beat you. You've got to run a second defender. And the last play of the game is a perfect example of this. And this is a team that's connected and tough and they have elite defenders. Watch as this play develops. First and foremost, make it hard for Kawhi to get the basketball. Deny him the basketball. Push him out a step. You push him out one step further, it makes it easier to rotate. Then, once he does get the basketball, because you pushed him away from the basket, now you can set your defense. Deny him the ball and then run a second defender at him. Look right here, Andre Iguodala. He's going to see this play develop. He is connected with Klay Thompson. As this play develops, Iguodala, he's talking, great communication. You've got to take away the ball side corner, guys. That's an open 3. So what happens right here? Here comes the double team. But watch right here. Watch Draymond Green. Draymond Green makes this play because when the ball gets reversed, you got it out of Kawhi's hands. Notice Draymond Green is above right there, Gasol. Gasol cannot screen him. Now on the pass, watch the last part of this play. You say, what? All of a sudden, Kyle Lowry hit the side of the backboard. Why? Because Draymond Green ran at his shooting hand and contested the shot. That's what Golden State needs to do. Short clock, late game, get the ball out of Kawhi's hands, make him make an extra pass, be connected. If they're going to win this game, that guy can't take over the game. Short clock, late game.
Just ask 76 is what he's capable of with the game on the line. It's Seth Greenberg with the insight
dangerous.
all morning on SportsCenter AM.